So this week we're going to make generative images with Adobe Firefly and some other AIs, but I wanted to walk you through this page in Canvas a little bit. First, it shows you how to log in through the Saddleback portal. We have an Adobe Cloud login. It will take you over to the Adobe login. Once you log in with your Saddleback account, you can click on the Firefly button at the top so that your page looks like this. And that might take you a minute. Once you're ready, come back over here and let's just talk about how computers can see images. So computer vision has been around for a while. I mean, we've had web cameras, we've had digital photos, but how does the computer actually see the image? So we have to break data down for computers to process. Just like our brain has to process light by converting it through our eyes, inverting the image, going through rods and cones, and then somehow connecting with our brain so that we can tie that in with what we know in the real world. The computer has to take that data, convert it into ones and zeros so that it can tie that data in with what it knows through its training. So if we take a picture, we have to convert it into its individual picture elements. Those are called pixels. And each picture element has some specific color values. In this case, we're probably most of the time we're probably looking at RGB values. That's red, green, and blue. There are other ways to do this depending on the screen and the picture elements, but for the most part, we're going to be looking at RGB values. That's between 0 and 255. So, for example, if you had an all blue image, that might look like 0, comma 0, comma 255. And that would be an all blue pixel in that one pixel. So we have to go through the image, well, the computer does, pixel by pixel to grab the data. And that's where this convolutional neural network comes in. You take a square, maybe it's 3 by 3, maybe it's 7 by 7, and you grab all the data from that and you run it through some sort of a filter and you create a map. And in this case, the little animated GIF is showing you a feature map and activating something called ReLU. Doesn't matter for now what that is. But then you create your feature map and then you move one pixel over and you do it again. And you move one pixel over again. And you keep converting these raw pixel datum with the filters as you go through the image and create these meaningful patterns. But then there's another step. Then we start to add noise to the image called diffusion so that the model can see as you're adding noise what parts stand out, what parts don't. How can we take this image and turn it into pure noise, measuring it along the way, so that when we denoise, and this is where it gets interesting, you type some text, you type English or Spanish or whatever language you're working with into your large language model. Let's say you're using Adobe Firefly for this example. Firefly takes your English language, runs it through a model that finds all the patterns and similarities, compares it with what it has, and then it takes this noise and starts chipping away at the noise in the way that the noise was added, but in reverse, so that you end up with some kind of an image. Maybe you have a picture of a Shelby Cobra racing upside down in a loop-de-loop or something. And it finds all those little elements and puts them together in ways that are just creative and interesting and maybe pointless, but certainly we're getting a lot of fun out of it. So this week, I want you to try some hands-on with Adobe Firefly or your favorite of choice. If you have ChatGPT, you can get a couple images or Gemini, or there's so many. I posted in the discussion a whole bunch of free and paid options for you. Don't spend your money on it unless you're making money or you decide to. Don't spend your money just because we're having fun though. Try and use the free stuff until you break it. So here's a couple ideas for you. Idea number one, create a dream landscape. So find your cozy cabin, except I did it in a kelp forest at the bottom of the ocean. That came up with some really interesting surprises. Or find your object in an unexpected place. I chose a 1950s diner on Saturn with roller skating waitresses serving milkshakes. That was really interesting. Or you could try something, you could try reimagining a famous landmark like the Eiffel Tower made of glowing crystals or something like that. And take your images that you create, spend an hour or so on this. Take your images and put them in the discussion for the AI LLM discussion so we can all see what you came up with. All right, thanks. I'll see you next week in class.